I have missed you all. I hope that you've missed seeing us, and I hope that you are all safe and good and well. So this time around, we're going to do things a little differently. I've got people that are coming to help me to do the lessons. They're going to do things like crafts and games. So you'll see some of the teachers, and that's kind of fun. It's not just me, and we've had some real fun recording some of this stuff. And today's no exception. You see, today is also very different because it's a recap lesson. We're going through all the things that we have done in the past because we've got to understand it before we can move on to the next stuff. And so we found a really cool way of doing that. And Marilla and Leah and Adam have put together something that can be quite fun to do at home, which will come after this. But before we start, we need to look at the stories that we're going to be doing. And usually I would do people of the felt, but unfortunately one of the felt people have tested positive for COVID. So they're all in isolation and they can't come out this week. But we're going to just quickly talk through each lesson. And what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video right now. And I want you to run and get your Bibles, because I'm telling you now, I'm sure you know all of these stories. But as we go through this, I want you to go and open the Bible and find the story as we go about it. So quickly run, pause and get it, and then come back and we will start. Welcome back. So in today's lesson, we've got 6 stories that we're going to go through and we're going to talk about. So they're all in Genesis. Now, does everybody know where the book of Genesis is? Okay, it is the first book in the Bible, and a lot of it has got to talk about sort of origins of where we come from, or where the understanding of our faith comes from. So for the first one, let's see how quickly you can find this. I want you to see if you can find me the story of Adam and Eve. Now I can give you a hint. It is in Genesis chapter 1 to 4. Quickly, see if you can get it. You found it? I'm sure you have. And I'm sure you all know the story. Most people know the story, but God created a beautiful world. He made Adam and Eve, and they lived in the Garden of Eden. However, they ate from the tree of knowledge, and God didn't want them to do this. And so they had to leave the Garden of Eden. Once they left the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve had 2 sons who were called Cain and Abel. Cain was the firstborn, and he worked the soil. Abel was an animal herder. Cain and Abel both offered sacrifices to God. God was pleased with Abel's offering, but not Cain's. In anger, Cain kills Abel. And so God asks Cain where his brother is, and he says, "Am I my brother's keeper?" And Cain had to leave his family and wander around the rest of the world for the rest of his life. And then he went to the land of Nod. And then Adam and Eve had a son called Seth. Okay, next one. Are you ready? The second one is Noah's Ark. Can you find that quickly? And you find this Genesis 6 to chapter 9. And I'm sure you all know the story of Noah's Ark, where we have Noah who has to build an ark because God tells him, because God says, people are being bad, I'm going to flood the earth. And everybody laughs at Noah until the floods come, and they've got to put 2 of each kind of animal onto the ark, and everything gets flooded and everybody drowns, and we see the story revolving around how they've got to now start again. The next one is the Tower of Babel. Can you find that one? That's Genesis 11. Tower of Babel is an interesting one where the people wanted to get closest to God. They wanted to show their glory. And God made the people start to speak different languages. They couldn't communicate. And so they couldn't get up to heaven. Then we're going to find the story about Abraham. Now, does anybody know the song that goes with this one? Father Abraham had many and daughters. Okay, and that's in Genesis 12 to 19. Can you quickly go there? Who was Abraham married to? He was married to Sarah. and he was very old and didn't have children. And then God gave Sarah a child, who they called Isaac. Do you remember this? Okay. Okay, and the next one is Jacob and Esau. Genesis 24 to 33. So Isaac, Abraham's son, Isaac, who is Abraham's son, married Rebekah, and they had twin boys, Jacob and Esau. Esau had red hair and he was the oldest, and Jacob was the younger brother. And Jacob and Rebekah trick Isaac into giving Esau's birthright. You remember the story? If you don't, read up on it, because remember, you're going to need this for the activity. And then the last story is Joseph. Let's see if you were good at this. It's Genesis 37 to 50. Jacob had 12 sons. Second last born was Joseph, and he was his favorite. And there is a whole play called Joseph and the Technicolor Coat. So I want you to read that quickly so you can see what it's about. Sit down and have a discussion about it. Remember, we're just recapping. We're not talking about the deep meanings of these things. Because after this, there is going to be a really cool activity that Marilla and Adam and Leah have put together for you. So I hope that you enjoy this. I hope that you've learned these things. It's going to be important once in the coming series, in the coming days. And yeah, we'll see you after the activity.
Everyone, I hope you enjoyed that lesson which took you through the book of Genesis, and now we have some very interesting and activities that are actually linked to that story or that lesson. And this is an amazing race through the book of Genesis. So it's not really crafts, but specifically they are actually activities, and those activities can be found in your curriculum, which is on the website. Feel free to improvise. We've done a bit of that, and I've obviously roped in Adam and Leah to help me and have fun. I think the main thing is to have fun, and of course each stage of the activity symbolizes something from the story. Now remember to send us photos of what you're doing and videos if you can. We're really interested to see how you go about things and how you do this amazing race. Have fun! Hi everyone, so we have 6 amazing race stations set up here for the activity. And we're going to show you when we do each one what you need to do. So for the first one, the Adam and Eve, you need some pen and paper. For the second one, you need a few more people. So if you can't do this, perhaps you can think of something else. But we're going to move from the wetland to the dry land, which as you can see in the distance there. Here we're going to construct a Tower of Babel. Now you can use anything that you have. We've chosen blocks, but you can also use marshmallows. And here we're going to have a little game, and Adam's going to help us, where we're going to move the salt from one tray, which is empty or bowl, to which is full of salt, sorry, to another bowl, which has no salt, and we're going to answer some questions. And then here we're going to answer some true and false questions about Jacob and Esau, or we can also do a tug-of-war game. And then finally here with this lovely multicolored setup, we have an obstacle course. So let's see how you do each activity. You can do your own thing here and improvise. Please feel free to do that. So for this first activity, you need to draw a picture of the first family of God using any part of your body except your hands. So here you can see Leah trying to do this with her elbow. She's not doing a bad job. Now remember, when I say the first family of God, there were 4 members of that family. Can you remember who they were? I hope you can. Let us see your lovely drawings. So the second activity is about Noah's Ark, where we're going to move from the wetland, as you can see Adam and Leah in the wetland, to the dry land. Now there are many ways you can do this. You can improvise, you can use boxes, and you can shift yourself in those boxes, or you can use a hula hoop, or you can use a piece of rope. And as you can see, Adam and Leah are trying to move from the wet land where the ark is left behind to the dry land, and they're using a piece of rope. And there's the dry land there where the chair is. So have fun doing this and improvise and do what you can. So the third part of our activity is to build the Tower of Babel. But now, of course, you know the story, so you're not allowed to speak to each other. So you must have some help. Perhaps you can ask your brother and sister or mom and dad to help you build this massive tower. And you need to coordinate, but no speaking, remember. And of course, try not to drop the tower. So Leah is being very careful here, as you can see. You don't have to use blocks. Oh no, Leah. You can also use marshmallows. That may be fun as well. So this activity is about the story of Abraham. Now, for this activity, you're going to have a full bowl of salt on one side of the room and an empty bowl of salt on the other side of the room. And you're going to transfer with your hand behind your back, very carefully, like Adam is doing, the salt with your teaspoon. But of course, you need to be competitive about this, because perhaps your brother or sister can do it quicker than you. And at the other side of the room, there's some questions you need to answer. So examples of these questions, and they can be found, are:
who was the father of many nations? Who was Abraham married to? What was the name of Abraham and Sarah's son? What?
So here we're going to do an activity. Well, there are two options here. There are two activities. One is a true-false activity, which Leah is going to demonstrate. And the second one, if you're really into lots of fun, is you can play tug of war with your siblings or your mum and dad or your family, obviously in a socially distant way. So what we're going to do is show you how to do the true or false questions. And Leah is going to ask you a few questions.
True or false? Isaac married Rebekah. True or false? Isaac's children were Jacob and Esau. Jacob was the older brother and had red hair.
Is that true or false?
True or false? Esau gave Jacob his birthright in return for a bowl of soup. True or false? Esau divided his father by pretending to be Jacob. True or false? In later life, God changed Jacob's name to Israel.
So the final part of the amazing race has a symbol or symbolizes the story of Joseph. So here we've set up an obstacle course, and part of that involves you being tied to a sibling or even a family member, obviously COVID compliant as well, if you're using any other friends to do this. And you need to do the obstacle course tied together. So you can do whatever obstacles you want. I've asked Adam and Leah to set up a particular type of obstacle course that they want to do. So let's see what they do and how they manage this. So this is about teamwork and group coordination. So everyone, I hope you all had fun doing this amazing race, and you can set it up in whichever way you want to. We really hope you do these activities and you enjoy them. Bye then.
Thank you, Marilla, Leah, and Adam. I hope that you all enjoyed doing this activity at home. I know I did. I think it was so cool. Anyway, and I hope that you remember some of these stories and you remember what they were about and what we had spoken about in the past. And I hope that you join us again next week. Remember to stay safe, socially distance, sanitize, and wear your masks. We really want this pandemic to go away so we can all come back again and have so much fun together. Really missing all your faces. And with that, let us do the blessing. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. And may the Lord give you his peace. Amen. I hope that you all stay safe, and you'll see me all next week. Bye.